YouTube, Violet Artisan here. This video is based on my own personal experience with home mole removal using apple cider vinegar. As a warning from me to you, if you value your flesh, do not use apple cider vinegar to remove your moles. If your moles don't hurt or bother you in any way, even if they're raised like mine was, I beg you to leave them alone. Go see a medical professional and let them deal with your moles if you're so worried about them. I bet you're all saying, "But Katrina, apple cider vinegar mole removal is so much cheaper than going to a doctor. It's pain-free compared to a doctor's visit and the results are amazing." No, I call BS on it being pain-free. Apple cider vinegar burns. Not just an "ouch, that's inconvenient" kind of a burn. More like a "get the extinguisher, my skin is on fire" kind of a burn. Now, I have sensitive skin, but the burning pain was too much to handle and the damage it did to my skin was even worse. Let me tell you why I made this video. One day, a few years ago, I accidentally shaved off a mole I had in my left armpit. The injury healed, but the mole slowly came back. Sometime later, my mother saw it and became concerned, as she had never noticed it before and thought it looked like a tick or something. It wasn't bothering me and it wasn't changing color or shape. Sure, it was raised, but that didn't bother me either. It was suggested that I go get it looked at. I didn't really want to go that route as I had been to a dermatologist before. He dismissed my questions when I asked him about a much larger raised mole I have behind my right ear, mainly because I mentioned that it didn't hurt or bother me. I foolishly thought that it would have been a wasted trip if I went to a dermatologist to ask about the armpit mole, only to get brushed off like I did before. The same day I talked to my mother, I looked on the internet to see if there were any mole removal remedies I could do at home. I saw several websites that said that an effective mole removal remedy was apple cider vinegar that was raw, unfiltered, unpasteurized, and still had the mother with it. I didn't want to run the risk of shaving the armpit mole off again and having it grow back larger, so I thought, what the heck, I'll give it a shot, and looked around my house to see if there was any I could use. All we had was the stuff that had been filtered and was so clear you could see through it. I tried it and didn't feel much of anything. I decided to get the much stronger stuff next time I went grocery shopping. The next day I went to the store and found some organic apple cider vinegar. It was raw, unfiltered, unpasteurized, and it still had the mother. It only cost me $4, but it was just like I had read online. So as soon as I got home, I took my apple cider vinegar into the bathroom, found the supplies I'd need, band-aids and cotton balls, and got to work. Here's my experience with apple cider vinegar mole removal. Sorry, no pictures for you. It's really gruesome. Day 1. I bought some organic apple cider vinegar that was raw, unpasteurized, unfiltered, and had the mother. I tried it out. Felt some burning, but figured, the burn says it's working. I didn't think it could get any worse and briefly thought about removing other raised moles with this method. There was no change in the mole yet, but I couldn't expect results on the first day. Day 2. The band-aids were leaving adhesive residue behind, and the vinegar was leaking through to my skin. It began to turn red, so I swapped to medical tape. That left adhesive residue too. I felt like I couldn't win in the bandage department. The mole started to get red around it, but there was still no change yet. I probably should have stopped using apple cider vinegar here. Day 3. Started to regret trying to take a mole off using a home remedy and decided to never do it again after this attempt. The medical tape worked, but it pulled on my skin with movement. I bought round band-aids and a bag of cotton balls, which cost $2.50. The mole looked flatter and slightly darker and was still red around it. Day 4. Underestimated. How I described my treatment of the vinegar burning intensity at first. I kept using medical tape because the round band-aids weren't sticking. The vinegar ate the adhesive. I planned on saving the round band-aids for if the mole ever fell off. The mole looked darker and turned white on top, but it hadn't started scabbing yet. Day 5. I changed the bandage every 4 to 6 hours instead of every 8. It's hot here and I sweat, making the bandage peel off more often. I also hoped frequent changes would speed up the removal process. Was it wishful thinking? The mole looked like it was starting to slowly scab up, but it hadn't hardened yet. Maybe a few more days? Day 6. Kept up with the experiment. I used rubbing alcohol in an effort to clean up the adhesive residue. That didn't hurt nearly as bad as the vinegar, but it was still a stupid move on my part. The mole was getting darker and it looked like it had scabbed up a little more. The area around it was looking like a war zone. Whoever said that apple cider vinegar was pain-free is wrong! Day 7. I stopped using apple cider vinegar when the pain of the burning was so bad I was doubled over my bathroom counter trying not to cry. I ended up bawling because the pain was too much and my skin around the mole was inflamed, turning yellow and peeling. I could barely sleep that night. I'll let it heal on its own for now, but if the burn doesn't look or feel any better in a few days, I'll have to see a doctor. How do I feel about trying this remedy? I regret it 100%. This was one of the absolute worst decisions I've made in my 32 years on the planet. I should have left the mole alone. It wasn't hurting me, it wasn't bothering me, and despite it being raised, it wasn't changing shape or color. I could have saved the $6.50 I spent on the vinegar, cotton balls, and round band-aids towards a new laptop. That, or I could have spent the money on something like yarn, drawing materials, or a few cans of food for my dog. Lesson learned. Do not try out home remedies for clear and healthy skin found on the internet, especially not apple cider vinegar. They're nothing short of self-torture, and I'm paying the price for trying it. Will I ever try this remedy again? No, 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 a billion times no! This remedy has left me in tears on many occasions because of how bad the burning was and how bad my skin looked. If the mole grows back after trying this remedy, I will leave it alone. This remedy was awful, plain and simple. I do have leftover apple cider vinegar, but I think I'm going to find other and less painful uses for it. Do I recommend this remedy? No! I do not recommend this remedy at all. Leave the apple cider vinegar for use in food recipes, other health-related things, or for being used as cleaners. For the love of God, do not use it for moles. Well, that's my 2 cents, more like $6.50, on the whole apple cider vinegar mole removal thing. If you're so concerned about your outer beauty and your moles, I beg you, please find something to use that won't burn the ever-loving crap out of you. Your flesh will thank you for it. Thank you for watching and hopefully listening. Ta-ta for now.